Guys, to make up for my lack of videos lately, I'm going to review X-Men First Class. Now, I love the X-Men movies, all three of them. There's only three. And, I don't read comics all that much. All my knowledge of X-Men comes from this book, the Marvel X-Men Encyclopedia. Very handy, so I know some of the canon. I bought a lot of guidebooks for all the canon and everything. So, I kind of know some of the lore. So, that said, this movie does departure from the lore quite a lot. It's like some familiar X-Men make their debut here, which, when you look at the comics and look at all that stuff, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think Angel was Hispanic in the comics. Not that I'm complaining with her casting choice, is that Zoe Kravitz is dead smoking. You know what I mean? But, and there are a lot of plot holes between this and the other three movies, which you won't really necessarily notice them as you watch a movie, but after you come out of the theater, you think back and wait a second, that doesn't add up. Because after I saw this movie, I went back and rewatched all three X-Men movies, and I said to myself, wait, that doesn't add up with this. I think I might make, after I'm done with the review, I'll do a spoiler recap of all the plot holes in this movie and the other ones. But as I said, you probably won't notice them until after you're done with the movie. But apparently, you forgive all that stuff because X-Men First Class is a good movie. It's a spectacular movie. It's one of the best summer movies ever. That's why I said it. I mean, it has some minor flaws like that, and I'll just get the flaws out of the way first. Like, the character Mystique. She's... Obviously, Jennifer Lawrence has big shoes to fill, and she didn't do a horrible job. It's just I could have used more of a bridge between the way she behaves in this movie and the way she behaves in the trilogy. And there's one character in this movie who I liked from the comics, or guidebooks, I should say. And this character, what happens to this character in this movie is, total 180 from how his character was in the comics. I mean, when you watch this in the theater, you'll be like, what? That's not right at all. You just screwed us all over. So, yeah, stuff like that. But, and as I said, all the canon holes, all the plot holes between movies, like how they all relate. But, aside from that, this movie is stellar. Not to plug my book. Every time I use that word, people are going to think I'm plugging my book now. But it truly is a spectacular movie. Like, the acting is superb. As I said, and as you probably saw in my X-Men First Class trailer reaction, I had a lot of doubts about some of the actors, like James McAvoy. But he did a great job. I mean, this is supposed to be like a very, very different Xavier from how we're used to seeing him as Patrick Stewart. Because when you watch this movie, and then if you've watched other movies, and then you watch this movie, you'd be like, Professor Xavier. Because there are, character-wise, he's probably the most different from his trilogy counterpart. Michael Fassbender as Magneto, fantastic. I think practically Oscar-worthy, because early in the movie he's like hunting down some bad guys. He's like really sinister and threatening, and cool at the same time, and you kind of want to root for him. But the way he does, the way he disposes of these guys is very cool and creative and kind of chilling at the same time. And who else? Nicholas Hoult, who played Beast. I liked him. He was a pretty cool guy. He was very good lead-in to Kelsey Grammer. I liked that a lot. You could tell that he did his Kelsey Grammer research for this movie. Zoe Kravitz, fantastic. I've officially added her to my 5 celebrities I can sleep with list. For the record, everyone on Earth has that list. That's just, she's on mine. For curiosity's sake, along with Phoebe Tonkin, Sarah Hyland, Julia Jones, and Isabel Lucas, and Zoe Kravitz. So those are my 5 celebrities I can sleep with. Anyway, back to the review. And this is a very different kind of X-Men movie. It's very different from the ones we're used to. The ones we're used to were kind of more serious. It was always like, okay, we have to stop Magneto or he's gonna kill all the humans. We have to stop Magneto or he's gonna kill that little boy. We have to stop Magneto or he's gonna kill all the world leaders. Here it's a lot more relaxed, and it's not to say there are no stakes in this movie, but it's a lot of fun. This movie's so much fun to watch. It's one of those movies you can just keep going on and watching for hours and hours and hours and never get sick of it, which is always a good sign. I saw this movie twice, because it's one of the rare movies that I go back and see again. I think the last one I saw it twice was Tron Legacy. But, as I said, there are those minor flaws that keep it from being totally perfect. But it's really a fantastic movie. I know a couple people I know who are like on YouTube critics, a couple movie fan, who haven't seen the X-Men movies and like really love this movie. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you see it first, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of backstory for like fresh audiences. You should probably see the other trilogy first, or at least the first movie. But if you're looking for a really cool, fun summer movie, this is it. This gets my seal of approval. It's 4.5 stars. As I said, at least half a star for those minor flaws and those big plot holes. Like some of the plot holes, like Moira McTaggart is in this movie as a CIA agent. I'm not giving anything away. You see her in X-Men 3, and she's a doctor. And like, how did that happen? And of course, everyone's in some of the characters are like in their 20s in this movie, and come 40 years later in the trilogy, they only look like they're like in their 40s. They tried to clear that up with some of the characters, but like say Mystique, for example. Great cameos, by the way. I'm not going to spoil any of them, though I'm sure some other idiots on the internet have already spoiled them for you already. But fantastic cameos, very memorable. And also some of them do present one or two plot holes, like a cameo of a certain villain from one of the X-Men movies. But this is a fantastic movie, and you should definitely see it if you're an X-Men fan. If you're an hardcore X-Men fan, you're probably gonna nitpick a lot, but you forgive it because it's a good movie. And if you forgive the plot holes because it's a good movie, it's a good movie. 7 out.